Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields told NFL teams that he has been managing epilepsy throughout his football career. He was diagnosed as a youth and has taken medication for it, and his symptoms have become shorter and less frequent. It should be noted that Fields has not missed a game during his college career for any medical reason at all. So, Shannon, how concerned should NFL teams be about this?
I'm not concerned at all, Skip. He disclosed the information and said, as long as I take my medication, I'm just fine. There are a lot of guys that probably play in the league and take medication to have issues, and they deal with those. So it's not something that I'm concerned about. And like I said, he said it's gotten shorter and shorter. It happens with less frequency as long as he takes his medication. Alan Faneca was an all-time great guard, is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he had epilepsy. He took medication, and he performed just fine. So I have no doubt that Justin Fields will perform just fine. So for me, there are no red flags. There are nothing going on here that would concern me about Justin Fields' health. As long as he takes his medication, I believe that he will. He understands, because this is a serious illness. But he'll take his medication. He'll be just fine. And like you said, he hadn't missed a game because of it.
No.
You know, Pop Warner, high school, college, he's been great. So I don't see this as a problem, Skip. I really don't.
Also, it was pointed out that other members of his family has suffered from it, but as they aged, as they went through their 20s into their 30s, their symptoms started to wane. Okay. I'm with you on what you just said. For those watching who don't really understand what epilepsy is, just a very simple sort of definition of it, it's a neurological condition. It's abnormal electrical activity in the brain that can lead to sensory disturbances or loss of consciousness or convulsions or seizures.
Yeah.
And yet, to our knowledge, none of this has transpired in the football context for Justin Fields.
Right.
When I first read this very early this morning, when I first read the story, I thought it was satire. Seriously. This young man has been through so much. He has become the quote-unquote punching bag of this year's draft, right, of the quarterbacks.
And it seems like a story he wanted to get ahead of.
Yeah, but it almost seemed like a made-up story. Like somebody said, oh, it's gotten so bad for Justin Fields, let's make up a story, a tongue-in-cheek story about he's got epilepsy.
Right.
Well, he has had the condition.
Correct.
Okay. So I wouldn't love it if I were about to draft Justin Fields, that this condition, it wouldn't make me feel even better about drafting him, except for this. You want to talk about a tough kid? You want to talk about physically and mentally tough? Remember when he got his ribs cracked, and he just shrugged it off and kept on keeping on.
Correct.
And we've seen others try to play with cracked ribs in your league, and it ain't hard.
Easy. It's not easy.
You know. So no one has questioned his mental or physical toughness.
Correct.
And I think this could actually be a plus for him. I mean, you dread that he would have a seizure in the midst of some game. But the point is, he hasn't. And the point is, his family history would show you he should get nothing but better. And the point is that despite all of the discounting of Justin Fields, I'm going to say it again. I had this epiphany last night. To me, the Jets should take Justin Fields. That's how good he is. Like, he's better than Zach Wilson. We're going to do a whole topic on Zach Wilson a little bit. He's more trustable. He's more durable. He's a better athlete. He has a bigger arm. He's played bigger on bigger stages. If you just put the Clemson tape in, that's Brent Venables' defense. It's high-level defense, and that was a big-time football game. He destroyed them.
He did.
With 6 touchdown passes. And that came off his worst game, which was the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern, in which he just had a bad day. But did it impact him going forward into the Clemson game? Nope. Did not.
No.
So, to me, I've said this from the start, Justin Fields is the guy that the Jets should be all over at number 2, because he's that guy. Now, Trey Lance is the X factor here. If you fall in love, and it's a tough one because you just have a very small body of work.
Right.
I love what I see on YouTube, but it's a YouTube. I didn't watch a whole game.
Right.
Some people question his consistent accuracy. You can't question his athletic ability or his arm,
right,
or his smarts or his toughness.
Right.
Whew. He could be the diamond in this rough, man. He could be the star of the stars when all's said and done. We're also going to talk about Trevor Lawrence in a minute. Is he just, as Dabo has said, is he like Steph Curry where he's revolutionizing the ability to throw the football? We're not sold on that. We'll talk about that more in depth in just a moment. But Justin Fields shouldn't be discounted because he's big time. And to me, all of the above, it adds up to he should go to the Jets at the number 2 pick. And I told you from the start, I still couldn't get through my head why the Shanahans would trade all the way up to only number 3 because they can't control their fate. Unless, to your point, you say, well, they're so confident in themselves. They just say, okay, whichever way you go, we'll take the other one. We're going to be good. And we gave 2 next 2 years of first rounders to get there because we must, they have to know that they like 2 or 3 of them and they'd be happy with 2 or 3 of them. Well, okay, but the Jets should be happier with Justin Fields. That's my final analysis on this, is that they should take Justin Fields.
Skip, if this was something that he just found out, but it's something that he's been dealing with his whole career, and he's been dealing with it, and he's never had a problem with it. Terrell Davis had migraines, and once they gave him the proper medicine, he didn't have migraines.
Okay, but they impacted a Super Bowl he played in.
But that's because, Skip, he was dealing with migraines, and they didn't really know how to treat it. Well, that offseason, he went to the proper people, and he never had another problem with them. I'm sure there are players that take, be it for high blood pressure or for whatever the case may be. Skip, there are guys that have diabetes.
By the way, you won that Super Bowl.
We won that Super Bowl, yeah.
And as I recall, he's the
Super Bowl MVP.
He was pretty good,
yeah, he missed a quarter and ran for $157 and 3 touchdowns.
And that was against one Brett Favre.
Yeah. We did another one. So Skip, I'm not concerned because I know that I played with guys that had to take medicine for certain ailments, and they performed just fine and they know as long as I take my medicine, I'm going to be just fine. And so they want to be fine, so they take their medicine. I believe Justin Fields, and as you said, he says, my family, I have a history of this in my family. As we get older, the symptoms subside. Now, it is scary because I've seen someone that have this ailment, and I've seen them, have the seizures when I was in college. It is scary because you don't give you help. I mean, they're shaking uncontrollable, eyes roll back in the head, and you don't know what to do. But he says, as long as I take my medicine, I'm fine.
Okay. And you mentioned Fanakin. I believe Samari Rolle.
Samari Rolle, yeah. So Samari missed some time. And they had to change. I think they either changed his medicine or they strengthened his medicine. But once they gave him the proper medicine, Samari never had any more problems.
So how high would you take Justin Fields?
I mean, if I have him, with the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and I'm there, I'm taking him. But I believe, because of the West Coast system, they've seen Matt Ryan, they've seen Kirk Cousins, and I believe Mac Jones is a combination of those 2 guys. They know exactly what they're going to get. I believe he has the best accuracy. I believe the ball comes out the quickest of his hands. Now, is he the most athletic? He might be the least athletic. But when you play in that position, Skip, that's the one position I don't really care about athleticism. I really don't. As long as you're not a statue, and I don't believe he's that.
What still troubles me about Mac Jones is he was flawless, and his supporting cast was by far the best. It's just a little disturbing to me. It was the issue I had with Tua. Different player, very different mold. And yet I can't find one nit to pick with Mac Jones because there were none. There were none. He played 3 games the year before and all those games last year.
But Skip, the problem that I have with that is that nobody picked apart Joe Burrow. He played with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Same. Agreed.
I mean, one guy had 20 touchdowns and was the Biletnikoff Award winner 2 years ago, and the other guy could have been Rookie of the Year this year, Justin Jefferson. Had 1,400 receiving yards.
Okay, but what did you see in the few games he did play for Cincinnati before he got hurt?
He looked good.
Yeah. He looked like the real deal.
Yes. Mac Jones in that offense, He'll look real good.
Oh, so you're most of the consensus is that the Shanahans are sitting on Mac Jones.
I believe
at
they
number
are.
3. And your consensus is that's correct.
Yeah.
That's the right way to go.
I would take Mac Jones and wouldn't even think twice. I like Mac Jones, Skip. I'm telling you, the ball, the accuracy. For me, I want to know how quick does he process information? How quick does the ball come out of his hand? And is it accurate? Skip, I don't want to know 40 times. Oh, he ran 4-1. I don't care. Oh, he bit 700 pounds. I don't care. He can squat. He can jump over the moon. I don't care. Can he do those 3 things? Because that's what Tom Brady can do better than anybody else.
That's true.
He can't run fast. He can't jump high. And he can only bench the football. But he can throw it. He can process information instantaneous. The ball comes out quick and it's accurate.
Yep.
That's what you look for in a quarterback. You'll gladly accept those. Those are the first 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Now 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. If he can run fast, okay, fine. That's fine. If he can, got the 35-inch vertical, that's fine. But I need those first 3, and then I'll take anything else to come with that. I don't want those others to be